will Hung's mother be able to get back the house she once lost? That house used to be their home, full of memories, but she sold it in a moment of weakness. Today, she returns with trembling hands, holding the money she saved for half a year, hoping for just one thing: to buy back their old home and earn her son's forgiveness. But as the rusty gate creaks open, the new owner looks at her with a distant gaze. Is there still kindness left in this world? Can her tears of regret make up for the mistakes of the past? Or will the door to yesterday close once again, leaving her standing silently outside the place she once called home watch till the end of today's video to find out what awaits her behind that old gate? Late in the afternoon, the sunlight spilled onto the porch, making Mon's room feel even quieter. He was bent over his ledger when he happened to glance across the narrow alley. The gate of Hung's old house had just opened, and the new owner's car had pulled into the yard. Mon froze for a second, his heartbeat quickening. "They're back," he muttered, then quickly reached for his phone. "Hello, Mrs. Hung. It's Mon. I just saw the owners come home. Maybe today's a good time to talk." On the other end, her voice trembled, mixed with nervousness. "Really, son, I'm staying at a rented place, a bit far. But if they're home, I can come right away." "Okay, let me go check first. If I can set up a meeting, I'll call you right back. Thank you so much." Man hung up, took a deep breath, and whispered to himself, "I'll finish this part, then head over. Maybe today's the day everything gets decided." That noon, the sun was soft and warm. Mrs. Hung walked slowly down the familiar dirt road she had taken hundreds of times before each step felt like walking through her own memories. Her old house, once the home she shared with her son, had been repainted in a lighter color. Yet to her, it still looked exactly the same. She stopped at the gate eyes, hesitant, her wrinkled hand trembling as it rested on the old wooden door. "The gate's open, but no one's here," she whispered. Then turned toward the house next door, Man's place, her old neighbor who'd been helping her check on the house from time to time. She walked over and called softly from the gate, "Man, are you home?" From inside came his voice. "Yes, Aunt Hung. You're here. Perfect timing. I'm home today. Come in. They're back already." Her heart skipped a beat. She stepped inside, still a little uneasy. Mon was at his desk, surrounded by stacks of papers. He looked up, smiled, and poured her a glass of water. "I was just finishing up some paperwork. Sit down and rest a bit, Auntie." She sat, but her eyes stayed fixed on the house across the alley. "You said they're back?" she asked softly. "Yeah, they came home this morning. I was just about to call you." She nodded and set her bag on the floor. Inside was the bundle of cash she had been guarding for half a year, waiting for this day to come. "I still have the money," she said quietly. "I just worry it's not enough anymore. Prices must have gone up." Man sighed. "Yeah, real estate's crazy these days. But let's just talk to them first. I'll go with you." She smiled faintly. "If it weren't for you helping me, I wouldn't even know where to start." They sat in silence for a while. The only sound was his pen scratching the paper. She glanced around the small, simple room where he lived, and her heart softened with gratitude and sadness. "Have you seen Hung since you came back?" he asked. "No," she said quietly. "I stopped by Hoai Ca's place. He wasn't there. I checked the market, nothing. Maybe they're away somewhere. But honestly, I don't think I could face my son yet. Not until I've bought the house back. Only then could I look him in the eye." Man nodded. "He's probably traveling for work. Don't worry. Once you get the house back, you'll see him. I'm sure that's what he's hoping for, too. She clenched her hands tightly. I know. I just worry he still can't forgive me. Mon flipped through his notebook. I went over earlier. They're really back, but it doesn't seem like they're planning to sell yet. I tried talking to them, but they're hesitant. Really, she asked, concern flashing in her eyes. Maybe they're afraid of losing money or just don't want to move. Could be. But I think you should meet them in person. If they hear your story, they might change their mind. She sighed. I just want to see the house again, even if it's only to say I'm sorry. He put his pen down, looking at her with sympathy. Auntie, the money you pawned before probably won't be enough. They paid a high price for that house. If you're short, can you manage somehow? She went silent, her old hands tightening. I don't have much left, just a small rice field and a bit of land. Maybe I'll sell it. As long as I can buy the house back, it's worth it. Please don't, he said quickly. If Hung finds out, he'll be upset. He refused to sell that land even when things were tough. Selling it now would only make things worse. But if I can't buy the house, what meaning does that land even have anymore? She whispered sadly. Mon thought for a moment, then nodded gently. Let's go talk to them first. Maybe they'll understand and give you more time. Don't rush into selling anything yet. She nodded. All right, I'll follow your lead. I just hope everything goes smoothly. He stood up, closed his notebook, and said softly, Finish your drink, Auntie. Let's head over. I already set up the meeting. She rose, adjusted her scarf, and though her eyes still carried fear, there was a faint spark of hope. They stepped out, walking down the narrow alley. Every step she took was heavy, a mix of dread and anticipation. Ahead of them, her old house slowly came into view. That afternoon, the sunlight stretched softly across the narrow alley. Mon and Mrs. Hung stood in front of the freshly painted gate, exchanged a quick glance, then knocked. From inside came a woman's voice, cautious but polite. Who is it? It's me, ma'am. Man, he answered respectfully. The woman opened the door, curiosity in her eyes, as she looked at the two visitors. Mon bowed slightly and said, I spoke with you earlier about the house. This is my aunt. She's the former owner. She wanted to meet you to talk for a moment. The woman looked a bit surprised but stepped aside. Of course, please come in. The living room was simple but tidy. On the table sat a vase of yellow chrysanthemums, filling the air with a faint, sweet scent. The three sat down, facing each other. Mon started the conversation. As I mentioned before, my aunt here used to own this house. Back then, she had to pawn it because of financial trouble. Now she's hoping to buy it back. The woman nodded slowly, her tone calm but reserved. I actually met your son once. We talked a bit about this, but honestly, I haven't discussed it again with my family. We also haven't found another place to move to yet, so I've been hesitant. Mrs. Hung lowered her head, her voice trembling. I understand. I just hope you and your family can give me a chance. I know I made mistakes. I was reckless and selfish when I gave up this house. All I want now is to make it right, to make up to my son and to myself. I just want my family to be together again. The room fell silent. Man looked over at her. Her frail hands clutched the old fabric bag tightly, the one holding the money she had saved and never dared to touch. He spoke softly, almost pleading. Ma'am, she truly wants the house back. It's not just about money, It's about closure, about a mother's last wish. The woman sighed, her eyes softening. I understand. But to be honest, housing prices have changed a lot. When I bought this place, it was already expensive. To sell it now, it would probably have to be close to $1 billion. Mrs. Hung's heart sank. Her voice shook as she spoke. I pawned the house for $600 million. I still have that same amount. If it's short, I'll try to find the rest. I just hope you can show some kindness, so my son and I have a home to return to. She carefully placed the bundle of money on the table, her hands clasped as if afraid it would be rejected. The woman shook her head gently. I can't take any money right now. I need to talk it over with my family first. I understand how you feel, but this kind of decision takes time, trying to keep things calm. Mon spoke up. Ma'am, she really regrets what happened. She's been living in a small rented room. Her son Hung is also renting in the city. This house was built from his hard work for over 10 years. They just want a chance to come home. Tears welled in Mrs. Hung's eyes. Her voice broke. I've made so many mistakes. I just hope you'll help me fix them. Please, give me a chance to bring my family back together. The woman was quiet for a long moment, then said softly, I understand truly. Let me talk to my family. Come back in a week, and we'll discuss everything properly. We'll see what can be done. Mrs. Hung bowed her head. Thank you. No matter how it turns out, thank you for listening. Thank you for not turning me away. Man stood up and gently helped her. All right, we'll be back in a week. Thank you for your time. The woman walked them to the gate. The afternoon light slanted across the steps, stretching the shadows of the three figures. Before leaving, Mrs. Hung turned back and looked at the house, her eyes full of hope and sorrow. To her, that place wasn't just a house. It was her past, her mistake, and maybe the beginning of redemption. As they walked home, Mon said quietly, Auntie, you should try to prepare a bit more money. If they agree, you can make a deposit right away. She nodded, though her eyes dimmed. I'll try. Even if I have to sell everything I have left, I'll do it for my son and for Hoai Ca. The evening breeze carried the scent of old soil. Mon watched her figure slowly disappear down the alley, his chest tightening because he knew there's no pain greater than a mother's regret. That night, in her small rented room, Mrs. Hung sat alone under the dim yellow light. On the table was an old photo of Hung and Hoai Ca in happier times. Her trembling fingers brushed over it gently as she whispered, Just forgive me, son, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it right. Outside, a light rain began to fall on the metal roof, blending with the quiet sighs of a mother who had lost so much, but was still trying to heal with all her heart. As Mrs. Hung stepped out of the house, her hands trembled slightly. The emotions from the meeting still lingered in her chest. Everything that had just happened left her feeling heavy inside. The brick path in front of the yard, the row of areca palms by the gate, things she thought only existed in memory were right there before her eyes. Yet she couldn't touch them, couldn't call that place home again. Mon walked beside her in silence for a while before speaking softly. Auntie, what she said sounded hopeful. At least she didn't say no. When we come back next week, maybe there'll be good news. Mrs. Hung nodded, her gaze fixed on the ground. I know, but I'm still worried. Housing prices are too high now. I'm afraid the money I have won't be enough. I'm scared they'll change their mind." The sound of her shoes scraping against the dry pavement blended with the evening wind. The sunlight was fading, casting a sad golden hue across her wrinkled face. Man slowed his pace, glancing at the woman who had spent most of her life living with regret. "Don't worry too much," he said gently. "Think of this as a start." The lady seemed understanding. "I think she'll come around." Mrs. Hung pressed her lips together, then murmured, "If only I hadn't been so foolish back then. None of this would have happened." That house, it was Hung's life's work. He spent years building it, and I sold it away. Just like that, all because of one reckless decision. Her voice cracked, choked with emotion. "It's all in the past," Auntie said Mon softly. "What matters is that you're trying to make it right now." They passed the old fence where she once planted bougainvillea. The flowers were still blooming, but they no longer belonged to her. She stopped and stared for a moment, her eyes filled with quiet sorrow. "I just want my son to have a place to come back to," she said, under her breath. "If he could see that the house still stands, maybe he'd forgive me." Mon nodded. "He's a good man. I believe when he sees how much you've changed, he'll understand." After a few more steps, she spoke again, her tone low. "Man, if they agree to sell, but I still don't have enough. I'm planning to sell the land behind the garden. It doesn't mean much anymore if I don't have a home." He stopped and looked at her for a long moment. "Have you really thought that through? If Hung finds out you sold land to buy back the house, he might be even more upset." She gave a faint smile. "If he's angry, then so be it. As long as he has a place to live, that's enough for me." The wind picked up, rustling the edge of her scarf. Mon stayed silent. Deep down, he felt nothing but compassion. He knew this mother had made mistakes, had caused pain, but now she was doing everything she could to make things right with what little she had left. When they reached her small rented room, she invited him in. The place was tiny, barely a few square meters, with yellowed walls and worn furniture. On the table sat a cold teapot, beside it an old photo of 3 people, Hoai Ca, and her taken in happier times. Mon looked at it quietly. Mrs. Hung set her bag on the table and opened it carefully, counting the money inside. 600 million, the same amount she'd saved for half a year without spending a single jong. "It's all still here," she said softly. "But it probably won't be enough now." Mon looked at her with concern. "If you need more, maybe you can borrow for now, or I can ask around to see if anyone can help." She shook her head. "No, I don't want anyone to bear this for me. I caused this mess. I have to fix it myself." The room was so quiet, they could hear the ticking of the clock. The last light of sunset came through the small window, illuminating her lined face. Mon's heart ached as he watched her. "Auntie," he said gently, "if you get the chance to talk to Hung, you should tell him the truth. He might be the one who can actually help you." She gave a tired smile. "I'm not ready yet. Not until I get the house back. If he finds out I failed again, he'll only resent me more." He wanted to say something, but stopped himself. Some regrets he knew couldn't be eased by words. A moment later, she stood up and took out an envelope from the cupboard. Inside was a note with the address of a land broker. "If they agree next week and I'm short on money, I'll sell this small field," she said. "It's mine anyway. No one else's business." Monge sighed as he looked at the paper. "If that's what you really want, I'll help with the paperwork." But promise me one thing. Don't hide it from Hung anymore, okay? She nodded quietly. I know. Outside, the night had fully settled. The dim yellow light from the street lamp spilled through the window. Mon stood up and said softly, "Get some rest, Auntie. I'll let you know right away if I hear anything." She nodded and walked him to the door. "Thank you, Mon. I wouldn't have had the courage to do this without you." When he left, silence filled the room again. She sat back down and looked once more at the old photo. Her trembling hand brushed over her son's face in the frame, tears slipping down her cheeks. "My son," she whispered, "I was wrong. I just want you to know, all I ever wanted was for you to have a home to come back to." Outside the window, the wind rustled through the trees. In the distance, a dog barked from the very house she once called her own. Inside her heart, a faint hope still flickered that one day her mistakes would be forgiven, and she and her son would sit together again on that old porch in peace. The night grew darker. Mrs. Hung stayed awake, her eyes fixed on the familiar road, the one that led to the house she still dreamed of calling home again.